some of you have had experience with being small business owners in the past, and you loved it so much you want to do it again. For others, I mean, I know everybody's got to get some cash flow out of this at some point. All those good things, but I just want to know, what is your big why? And let's see, Mike McPherson, I'm going to start with you. What is your big why? Why are you doing this?
Yeah, I think what some of the folks talked about at kind of the beginning, I mean, ultimately trying to gain more control over our schedule, and obviously the first few years it's going to be challenging, but ultimately looking for a little more control and just the opportunity to build our own destiny. So that's a big thing for me.
Okay. Mike Hudson, how about you?
My why was to create and build a successful small business, have it be a very good place to work, and also have a strong ability and reputation for providing good quality products and services.
Good. Mike Balthazar.
Well, I've always wanted to have my own business. Just like I've heard other people say it's at different points, like, what would I actually do? And I just thought this was a good format and setup for me to be successful. It kind of matches my background. So that's why I decided to jump into it.
Okay. Jack, how about you? What's your big why?
Well, a couple things. Owning my own business before, I really enjoyed it. Once I got it going, it gave me flexibility to coach high school baseball and do some things. And, I would still be doing that, but I learned, and hopefully some things out of my control, that I'm learned to help here. And just with the fencing, when we hit that slow stage, I knew it wasn't in my control then, so that it's more about I'm controlling it and hopefully, having more time off too, but it's going to be a while now.
Okay. All right. Let's see, Scott Razoo, how about for you?
Yeah, for me, it was about similar to what people mentioned: independence, the ability to start and build a business and call the shots and control my destiny and have fun doing it.
Okay. Carly and Miguel.
Time to do what we want to do when we want to do it. And if we're going to work really hard, it should be to benefit us rather than a corporate environment.
Okay.
I don't want to sound like a push button, recording button. Reason for me wanting to start a small business. I'm tired of working on putting money in other people's pocket, and what I get is just crumbs off the top. I want to be able to put some in our own pocket so I can be able to do the things that we dream of doing when we want to do them. Basically, that's it.
Good. I like that. Let's see, Jeremy, what's your big why?
Sure. Just echoing what everybody else has been saying, control your own destiny, control, the business owner is always going to make more money than the employee for the most part.
Good. Zach.
Yeah, I think just to get away of the fear of shifting seats in the corporate world, and don't want this to happen to me when I'm 55 or 60 or 65, be controlling my own destiny then, and hopefully put my kids on a foothold to not have to go through the corporate side of this.
There you go. Donovan.
Yeah, pretty much the same as everybody. Control my own destiny. I told myself I was tired of missing the family events that I just missed over corporate America all the time. So now I have a little more control over that.
Good. Mark Baldwin, what's your big why?
Was that me?
It is. And then he froze.
Oh, well, am I back?
Oh, now he's back. Yep.
Oh, okay. I'll go quick. I'm going to echo everyone else's thing. I mean, getting out of corporate, controlling my own destiny, providing for my family, all of those things.
Okay. Liz.
I feel like I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but a little bit of a spin, but not really. I was just sick and tired of working for an industry that was stuck in the 1950s in a lot of ways. I personally hit my glass ceiling. Women just literally don't go higher than director level in the wine industry, and it's baffling. But I did really want to stay in Napa And so I'm used to moving cross country for the next job. And so this is the first time that I'm actually not moving for that next job. So I'm excited to, instead of having personal life, have to kind of revolve around and fit around work. You know, as we kind of jokingly say, now it's going to be the other way, but maybe in a couple of years. But, you know, starting to see the change to get, you know, personal life to be first, so I can watch my son grow up and literally be there when he needs to be picked up from daycare and whatnot.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Let's see, Mutu.
Yes, sir. I've been in corporate job for a long time, and we decided to get into business, and that way we both can work together and you know, provide customer service to the local area that I've been long time here, and as well as, you know, make more friends.
Nice. Nice. Andrea, how about for you? What is your big why?
Well, actually, I was the business owner in Argentina. So there are two important things for me. On one hand, it's the success that it's all up to me. And on the other hand, the flexibility in my schedule.
Good. Michael Pfefferman.
Well, definitely, you know, reflect a lot of what everybody has said. In terms of the ability to build something for the future, we're trying to, my family, we're trying to build towards something specific. My wife and I want to be able to take our kids on a year abroad, you know, homeschool them. And, you know, this is something that we have talked to a number of friends and others who have done this, and just really a kind of a life goal for us. And my belief is that I can get this business to a point in several years where it would provide that type of flexibility if I really work towards that specifically, with that specifically in mind. So that's what we're gunning for.
There you go. I like it. I like having that specific target. That's good. Carla.
My big why is, yeah, flexibility on my schedule. I'm tired of the commute. So working in Toronto is not fun, downtown Toronto. So I just want to, like, if I'm going to spend all this time in the road and working so hard, like, it will be for the benefit of my family and my kids.
Gotcha. Linda. I might have frozen. Linda, how about for you?
Can you hear me okay, Arlen? I'm
Gotcha.
having internet. Okay.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think for me, it really, I've been, you know, in corporate a long time, and just got to a point tired of honestly having a CEO. To do something different and take control of my own, you know, destiny, so to speak.
Okay. All right. So we got control of destiny. You might end up having to shut off your video and save the bandwidth for audio. Let's see. Who am I missing? Who am I missing? Mommy.
Can you hear me?
Now we've got you.
Okay, it's a little bit dark here. The sun is not that bright today. To be the business owner, that's what we always wanted. Me and Jibril, we wanted to provide something for our family. So when they grow up, they can, you know, they know that they, me as my family own and his family own have that, know that their parents provide something for them that they can grow. And we're tired being in the corporate as well. So
nice. Let's see. How about Leslie?
Mine's more about challenging myself. I've been in the corporate world my whole career, so definitely want to see if I'm able to do it and retire in 10 years and either sell the business or hopefully pass it down to my nephew if he wants to be in this industry.
Good. Good. Elise.
Yeah, mine's similar to what a lot of people have said, particularly the flexibility. But I think owning a business was something that Mike and I had talked about for a long time, but not franchising specifically. So I think we thought we need way more money to buy an existing business. So this just came along at the right time, and I was ready for a new challenge. And my hope is that, 5 years from now, I do have that flexibility to spend more time with my family, and we're hoping that it's fun and that we want to own it for a long time.
Good. Leandro.
Well, for me, have my own business is what I have always done in my country. So now starting here.
Good. Okay. John Neff.
Yeah, so about 10 years ago, I took a crazy gamble and was one of the very first employees hired at a startup. Was lucky enough to help it kind of grow over the years as the operations guy. And last year, it sold. And just seeing that opportunity up close for the owner and what it did for him made me wonder, can I do it for myself? So
I like it. I like it. Adriana.
Hi, well, I didn't hear the original question, but with all the comments that the other ones are saying, I think that I am doing this because at the end I want to have like my own business. I want to work in my own project.
Okay.
Not.
All right, let's see. Who have I missed? Jorge. I know he was on. All right. Good. So we will move forward. All right. So today we are going to get into some details in Salesforce. Let's share the screen here. But I'm not going to stay in PowerPoint very long because I really want to, we're going to do a lot more in Salesforce. We're going to talk a little bit about competitiveness. We've talked about being competitive before, so I'm not going to dwell on this too much, but I do want to dive into calendar availability, and we're going to spend some time talking about like some important fields inside of Salesforce. So we are going to get sort of into the weeds. If you want to follow along in Salesforce, that's great. I'm going to have you guys make some adjustments in your Salesforce on your branch pages and that sort of thing. And so if you can't follow along, this is one that you might want to go back and rewatch or save it so that you can go back and rewatch how to get to this stuff. So what does it mean to be competitive? When I say competitive, what does that sound like to you? Now, Mike McPherson, Elise, you guys were just at a competitive workshop last week in Chicago. To you, or to anybody on here, when I say being competitive, what does that mean?
And maybe I'll start. So yeah, as Arlen mentioned, Elise and I participated in the Chicago Co-op last week, and one of the interesting portions of that 3-day event was a competitive secret shop that was done. So some of the corporate guys came up from Atlanta and other places and rented out some Airbnbs. And then there was a couple of owners who also offered up their homes. And it was super interesting, in terms of what the competition came in at, in terms of solutions and pricing. And just as you can imagine, in this market and other markets, Empire's a huge player. In Chicago, there's also Luna that's owned by Empire that's really big. So Luna bid on the job, and then there was a couple of smaller players, and it was really eye-opening on how aggressive they were with pricing, and how they went from particularly Luna, a very high opening price to 2 days later dropping, by over 60%. So I knew this was a competitive business and a lot of players, big and small, but that was a real eye opener to just how competitive we're going to have to be with our pricing to be in the consideration set with these other players.
Yeah, and I would just add, in terms of pricing, we talked to the Shaw reps, and it sounded like a lot of our competitors are showing just cheaper options than us. And obviously, if you're showing nicer product, the price is going to be way higher. So I think just keeping that in mind and probably showing them multiple options and making sure that you're, explaining that what Luna or whoever sold might not be quite as nice, or if they want something less nice, show it to them, even if you think it's not a good option.
Good. All right. What else? What else? When I say just the word competitive, what does that mean to you? What does it mean for your business to be competitive?
Say it means winning.
Okay. And how do you win? What sets you apart for you to be able to win?
Doing whatever
Value.
you can to get a sale. I mean, making sure as much as you can, not giving up on anything, not checking out, not taking an appointment off or hiring off. I mean, just a lot.
Okay.
I think it means being in price within a reasonable price range. And I think you don't have to be the cheapest one, but you can't be a huge price outlier on it. So you're going to be able to sort of what I call make the spreadsheet, so that, as a customer looks at the cost of different options, they're not going to look at my bid and say, well, he's great, but then after that, people, I want to be competitive to where they'll buy not just on price, but based off of the confidence that they're going to have in me to be able to get their job done on a timely basis without headaches.
Good.
That way we can compete on a service reputation, but being in a reasonable price range.
Good. I like that. What else?
I would echo.
Go ahead, Linda.
It's about selling value. So it's not just price, it's all the wraparound service, the in-home consult.
I think Linda's connection is struggling today.
Sell the value.
All right, good. So when I think about being competitive, and one of the things that I went to the Orlando close rate session. We've done one in Dallas, now Chicago. This week they're in Philadelphia, picking up Philadelphia and New Jersey. And I mean, these regionals are really, really powerful. One thing to note, these regionals are really focused on price, but price is not the only thing, right? And I like the way that Mike said it. You have to be able to make the spreadsheet. You don't have to be the cheapest one, but if you're way out there because you were showing a better product or you were showing a better way to install it or whatever, you have to be able to show the customer why that is important, right? You've really got to be able to show the customer why what you're proposing to them is a better product for them or a better installation method or whatever, right? In order to be competitive, you have to be able to show the customer the value. I love this quote. The bitterness of poor quality is remembered long after the sweetness of low price is faded from memory. You don't have to be the cheapest price. You really don't. As a matter of fact, you probably don't want to be the cheapest price. The guy that's out there that's giving the absolute cheapest price to do flooring is not going to be there when something goes wrong. And more than likely, they've cut corners and things will go wrong. So how do you balance it? How do you make sure that you're there for your customer and you're actually competitive? Well, part of it is in pricing, for sure, right? Local labor prices, product prices, this is huge. I mean, people, obviously, you've got to at least be within the window. Calendar availability is also big. So we talk about wanting to be able to spend time with family. We talk about wanting to be able to take holidays and doing things. And look, I'm right there with you. I want to be able to do the same thing. The catch, though, is that you also have to be available, or I should say that your business has to be available when your customers need you. So this is where it's tough, but there's a very clear path. So right now, if I say that your business needs to be available for customers at 7 o'clock at night, well, right now that means that you need to be available at 7 o'clock at night. If I say that your business needs to be available for customers on Saturdays and Sundays, Well, that means that you need to be available on Saturdays and Sundays. This is tough. This is part of getting it started in the beginning, and it's tough in the beginning because, you know, you and the business are synonymous. But when you start scaling and you bring on a design associate and you bring on another design associate, you bring on another design associate, as you scale the business, that's where the time flexibility comes in, right? Because then all of a sudden it's not just you that's available. The business is available. And that doesn't mean that you have to work your design associates 7 days a week or 6 days a week. They don't have to work every weekend. As you scale, it gives enough people in the business so that the business is available. It doesn't necessarily mean that each person is working crazy hours, right? Being able to give a customer multiple options. I love what Elise said. The people from Shaw have said, you know what, we're showing better products. Okay, well, great, we're showing better products. But you have somebody that's showing other products. If you can at least show the customer, hey, look, we can get you that product, so it's apples to apples, but we also have a better product here. Being able to show a customer multiple options, and then being able to give a customer a proposal on the same day. That is huge. I don't know how many times I've asked for a contractor, a painter, somebody to give me a price on something, and it takes 2 weeks for them to get back in touch with me. Well, that's just, I mean, that's a poor way to manage a business. So on pricing, we're not going to spend a lot of time here today. Obviously, local labor prices are 100% in your control. That's something that's managed in your local price list manager. We understand product pricing and how it comes in from the suppliers. I really want to spend a minute on calendar availability. So when you look at your calendar in Salesforce, and we're going to actually go into Salesforce and do this, you are setting up what I call your default work hours. Okay, and we're gonna take off the franchise owner hat for a minute, and we're gonna put on a design associate hat, and we're gonna say, what is the amount of time that your customers see you as being available? So if they were to go to the website and try to book an appointment with you, what do they see? Or if the call center were to, you know, somebody called into the call center, they came through Angie's List, they came through 3Ships or whatever lead aggregator they came in through, or maybe they saw you at a show or an event and they called your office. What is it that the customer sees as being your availability? All right, so now let me just ask you a question. I want you to put yourself in the shoes of your customer. What type of availability would you want? Like if you're the customer and you want somebody to come to your house and give you a quote for flooring, when do you want them to show up? What's convenient for you as a customer?
When I'm available, so all the time. Options, choices.
Okay.
I would assume usually at nights and weekends.
There's definitely some night and weekend work for sure, right? I mean, look, I work from home, but that doesn't mean I can take a phone. I can't get somebody at the door right now. I mean, even though I work from the house 2 weeks out of the month, 1 week out of the month, it doesn't mean that I can just drop what I'm doing and entertain somebody that comes to the door. So even for people that are working from home, an evening appointment or a weekend appointment is desirable. What else? As a customer, how would you want someone to be available?
Sooner rather than later. It's always frustrating when the next available appointment is 3 weeks out because you're shopping now. You want it now.
Agreed, right? Okay, so here's a little statistic for you. If you book an appointment more than 72 hours in advance, so more than 3 days in advance, what is today? Today is Tuesday. So if I'm booking an appointment Wednesday, Thursday, Friday or later, if I'm booking an appointment today for Saturday, there is a high probability of that appointment being canceled. All right, now I want this to sink in for a moment. Okay, I want this to sink in for a moment. People are going to book an appointment as quickly as they possibly can. You guys have been through the PPA training, you've talked to marketing, you understand that. How much does it cost for you what will you pay for an appointment from PPA?
$200-ish, $250.
Yeah, it's about $200, right? By the time you pay for the appointment, you pay for the call center to book the appointment. It's about, let's just round it off. It's about $200, right? So that means that you are paying $200 for the privilege of ringing a doorbell. Now, it's expensive. It's not so bad if you remember that, well, if I use that one doorbell ring, but I do a great job of marketing the houses right around that one and interfacing with neighbors and whatever else, maybe I can turn one doorbell ring into 5 doorbell rings, and then it's not so bad. But at the moment, you're paying for the privilege of ringing that doorbell. But what if that appointment gets canceled? Do you still pay for it?
Yep.
Yeah, you do. So now you paid $200 for an appointment and you never even got to ring the doorbell. That sucks, doesn't it? I mean, that's an expensive way of looking at an address and never doing anything with it. So if you look at your calendar and you realize that my calendar is so booked up that people are having to book 3, 4, 5, 6 days out, 2 weeks out, you have a high likelihood of those appointments being canceled. So what is my point in all this? You need to have breadth and depth when you look at your calendar. Breadth and depth. So what I mean by that is you really need to have a lot of hours available on the calendar. That doesn't mean you're going to run 6 appointments today, but you actually want to have a big open spot on your calendar for people to be able to book appointments. Then you can reschedule them or rework them however you need to. And you want to make sure that you're bringing people in as often as possible. So if somebody does happen to book an appointment for next week on Wednesday, that you're calling them and seeing if you can move it forward. Yes, I realize they booked it for next Wednesday, but maybe that's what was showing on your calendar at the time. You call them and see if you can pull it in, right? You really want to get to people as quickly as you possibly can. So I'm going to show you, and I encourage you to do the same. I don't like giving my address out because then all of a sudden I start getting a bunch of calls. So Liz, yeah, while I'm changing this, go ahead, Liz.
The question I know before going to that first scheduled appointment, you try to call the customer and, talk through and kind of do some prep work. I'm just curious how that changes things I assume that, if it's today and someone's booking on a Saturday, but you are able to have that in-depth phone call ahead of time, I assume things like that will actually mitigate the risk of people canceling.
It will.
Versus kind of this like anonymous,
Yep.
date in the future.
It will. So if you,
so that's another
For sure.
important reason to have that prep call.
Yep, it is it is a huge reason to have that prep call. So let's see, 50 floor, this is one. Let's see, if I needed carpet today, if I needed something done, let's see how quickly 50 floors could get to me. So I am closest to Charlotte. Or would it be, you know what? They've got Charleston. Let's pick from Charleston. So they're not really even in Columbia, but they've got somebody in Charleston. So sometimes people come up from Charleston. So let's take a look at Charleston and see what we can do here. All right. So could they see me tomorrow? Hey, look at that. They could see me at 6 o'clock tomorrow. Great. That's not bad. What about this weekend? Could we do it this weekend? I could pick 9, 11, 1, 3. So they look like they're pretty wide open on Saturday. All right, that's not bad. All right, so now let's just see for fun. How about Empire? Let's see what they've got going on. Now, our website looks different. It looks and feels different. In order to get to the schedule on ours, you actually have to put in your address. Here, I can put in my zip code. Property type, home. And let's see what my available appointments look like. All right. So I couldn't do an evening. All right, I need an evening. So let's see more appointments and see what we got. Friday.
This one's interesting. It's not an actual appointment time. The person arrives within a 2-hour window.
Right, exactly. So
That would drive
they
me
will
nuts as a
show up.
consumer.
They're going to show up sometime between 3 and 5, right? If I pick
Yeah.
this, but I need them to show up later than that. So can I get a 6 p.m.? Oh, here we go. All right, so I could get one Thursday, and they'll show up sometime between 5 and 7. So what about this weekend? If I needed a weekend appointment, what would that look like? Okay. They've got availability this weekend. All right. So let's say that I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and book them for Thursday evening, right? So I could go ahead and book this, but it might be that I hit on somebody else that could see me even today or tomorrow. And if I decide to buy from whoever it is that I see today or tomorrow, then I'll just go ahead and cancel this appointment for Thursday and not worry about it. And for sure, the cancel the one on Saturday, because I really don't want to spend my weekend looking at Florida. Okay, so this is now our website works a little different. You actually have to put in your name and address in order to get to the schedule. But you're going to want your schedule to be open enough so that when a customer gets to you, that they can actually book something.
Hey, Arlen.
Hey, Arlen, both of the people that I secret shopped, one was Empire, and they did gave the window, and they're actually there really early in the window, but both of them gave me an option to if I was going to buy today, it was going to be significantly cheaper. So obviously something to keep in mind, and that kind of dovetails into your point of having lots of availability and getting as soon as possible, because that's how people are doing their pricing.
I mean, that's Empire's game, right? They'll take an $8,000 project and they'll quote it at 20, and they'll tell you that if you sign today, they can do it for 10. And then if you put up a fight, you can get it back. You can get it down to the 8 that it's supposed to be. So I mean, it's a weird pricing model. It's a weird closing. I mean, it's putting urgency on the close, but you have to decide today. Well, but people are doing that. I mean, the reason that they do it is because although it's high pressure and it's icky. I'm sorry, that's the technical term. It's icky. It works, and that's why the Empire guys do it. Is that they're putting pressure in the close. All right, so let's take a look at where
Arlen,
you said yes.
Before you jump forward, so because ours is active. So I'm trying to do a test on ours. If I hit next where I have my address in, is it going to charge me the $200? Or is there a way we can look at how ours looks to the customer online?
Yeah, so what you can do is if you're let's see, there is a way for you to see your appointments. If you go to your price list manager, let me remember how to do this. Is it under here or is it under the escrow? There's a way that you can see what the customer is going to be presented with. And it's on your, see, this gives me the leads per hour. It should be right here. So let's swap over to you. And I assume that it's still listed under Janice's name, right?
I think we switched it to mine, so it probably is under Markham.
Let's just see. No, it's not here. All right, I got to find it for you. But there is a way for you to see exactly what the customer is seeing. Is it under the escrow portal?
We can come back come back to it another. I don't want to take time from the rest of everybody. I just be nice
All right, let's
to
just
see.
take a look. Yes, it's here. So if you go into the escrow portal instead, who am I looking at here? Oh, good. I'm looking at you. All right. So if you come here to your dashboard, you will see what you have available. So right now, if you were to go on your website for Wednesday, you have 2 morning slots available. You have 3 midday slots available. Nothing in the evening, nothing on the weekend. Thursday, you've got 2 mornings, 4 midday, nothing in the evening, nothing on the weekend. So you can see how many appointments you've got available. There's nothing that's available on the weekend. Saturday, Sunday is blocked off each weekend. You can see how many leads per hour and how many leads per day are coming in. But this is your organization's availability. So as you have design associates and you start filling in more blocks, then you'll have the ability to, hopefully see more availability for the customer. But this is the same data that your website is picking from.
Got it. Thank you.
So let's see.
Get to that, Arlen.
So from important links, I went to the marketing escrow portal.
Okay.
And I was already logged in as Max, so it took me there. So now you can see this is exactly the time slots. These are the exact time slots that could be proposed on the website. So Wednesday, so there's nothing today. Why is there nothing today? Because the website can't book anything within the next 14 hours. So there's a block, the call center, the website cannot book you within the next 14 hours. All right, so now we start for tomorrow. Well, Max could be booked in half-hour increments. You've got openings all the way from 8:30 to 4:30. All right, that's great unless the customer wants an evening appointment. Thursday, 8:30 to 4:30. Friday, 7 a.m. to 4:30. Nothing Saturday, nothing Sunday. So these are the open slots. And if you look at my calendar, there's nothing out there right now. So I'm going to go back into Salesforce and I'm going to show you where you set your default. We're going to talk a little bit about what happens with this calendar. So I'm going to start with a branch. And since we're looking at Markham, good. So your branch is there. And you guys can follow me here if you want to. Put in your branch. So you should be looking at your branch, not your username, but your branch. So it's typically it's everybody's last name, right? So here we have Max's branch in Jacksonville. Now, over here on the right-hand side, if you'll scroll down, you're going to see this section called Service Territory Members. Service Territory Members. And these are different people that are in his organization. So Janice and Ira is there. Okay, good. There's 2 hyperlinks for each person. So you notice under Max, you have an STM number, and then you have Max's name. Both of these are hyperlinks, but they go to 2 different places. So where I'm going specifically is I'm going to the STM number. So how did I get there? I went to Max's branch. I went to the Markham branch. And then I came down here to Max's STM number, and I'm going to click on that STM number. All right, so now I'm looking at Max as if Max is a design associate. So here we have Max as a design associate, and you'll see here Max Markham operating hours. Now let's assume for a moment that Max is not a franchise owner, but he just got hired to be your DA. So Max is hired to be your DA. What do you want Max's operating hours to be? What do you want their hours to be? Do you want them to work from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.? Do you want them to work from 11 to 8? Do you want them to work from noon to 9? You know, what are their normal work hours? And so when I say their normal work hours, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to run appointments during that whole period of time, but it's the amount of time that they could have appointments booked to them. So I'm going to click on Max Markham operating hours. You guys can do the same for yours. If I click on the operating hours, you'll see this box under here called Time Slots Editor when it loads. Here we go. All right. So these are Max's time slot. All right. So I'm guessing that Janice is still in the business, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Correct.
So what we're picking up on the calendar for your business is her time slots, not yours, because you don't have any yet. Okay. So I'm going to show you how to do them. Don't worry, Max. I'm not going to save this. I leave this for you to do. But let's say that I'm a brand new business owner and I want my customers to be able to find me practically anytime. So I might set myself up to be able to run appointments from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. Now, does that mean not 10 p.m., 9 p.m.? Now, does that mean that I'm going to actually run that many appointments a day? No, it doesn't. And we're going to talk about how to manage that day. But I want people, when they go to the website, I want them to have opportunities. So when they can pick a slot, great, they pick a slot, and I have no problem calling the customer or having the office manager call the customer and do a great setup call and potentially even reschedule the appointment. I'm okay with that, but I want the website to show a lot of availability. Okay, so good. So this is where I get the breadth of schedule. All right, so what does this mean? Does this mean that somebody can book an appointment at 8 a.m.?
Yep.
Yes, it does. Does this mean that somebody can book an appointment at 9 p.m.?
No.
No, it doesn't. So you have a window, and right now everybody's window is by default set at 2 hours. Okay, so right now the system is set for you to have a 2-hour window for each appointment. This means that Max's latest appointment could be 7 p.m. Okay, so again, I like to think of it as this is my design associate, and what are my design associates' possible hours? They could get an appointment as early as 8 a.m., and they could take an appointment as late as 7 with every intention that they will be finished no later than 9 o'clock. Yeah, Liz.
I just wanted to clarify the 8 a.m. start time in terms of when the system's looking at it. For some reason, I was thinking 8 a.m. meant that was the start of when you could commute to that address. But you're saying 8 a.m. is actually the start of the first appointment.
Yeah, so 8 a.m. is the start of the first appointment. There was, things changed rapidly. It was set up so that 8 a.m. was the start of your commute. Now it's not. Now, whatever you list here, that could be the start of your first appointment.
Good to know. Thanks.
Okay. All right. So what happens if, you know what, Wednesdays, I have a BNI meeting every Wednesday. And so BNI is something that I can't just slough off. This is a hard coded into my schedule. Well, you could set your Wednesday up so that, let's say it's from 8 to, 8 until noon. I've got to be at BNI at 12:30, so I'll leave it at like noon. And then I can pick back up at 2 o'clock or maybe even 2:30. Let's just move it to 2:30. So now what have I done? I have purposely created a hole in my calendar. I've created this hole because I'm always going to have a BNI meeting on Wednesdays at lunch. And I'm forcing that hole to be there. Maybe Wednesday after, you know what? Maybe Wednesdays you've got family stuff in the evenings, and you say, you know what? I'm happy to do an appointment Wednesday afternoon. This allows a customer to pick 2:30, 3, 3:34, but I'm not going to run evening appointments on Wednesdays. The latest appointment I'll take is 4 o'clock on Wednesday because I've got family stuff Wednesday. That's okay, right? So this is how you would set up your default hours. This is not the same as your calendar, right? Because this is telling the system that every Monday I'm good from 8 to 9. Every Tuesday I'm good from 8 to 9. Okay, but there's meetings and stuff that happen. There's things that jump onto the calendar. That's fine. That's going to affect the calendar on a week-by-week basis, a day-by-day basis. this is where you're setting up your default. And of course, you got, you know, the ability to do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, keep on trucking, right? Any questions about this or how this gets used?
Yeah, Harlan,
Yeah,
this
Max?
actually came up yesterday. Is the only way to block holidays to do it in Outlook? You can't block it here?
Well, you wouldn't block it here because this is my default week, right?
Yep.
So Monday is not an automatic holiday every month, every week. I can block it in Outlook or I can block it in Salesforce, but not here. I'll show you in the calendar how to make a block. You don't do it here because this is like every Monday, this is what I can do. But you know what? Every so often, Monday is a holiday. I'm going to take care of that somewhere else because this is my default Monday. This is what my normal Monday looks like.
Okay, I'll wait for that. And then the other one, this is unique to me, but like I just pulled up, excuse me, Janice's calendar, and she has Saturday on there, but that other slide you were showing us says it does not have it. So I'm wondering why that doesn't match up.
All right, maybe she's got it blocked.
Gotcha.
So I'll pull it up. I'll pull it up a different way and see if maybe she's got it blocked.
Arlen,
Okay.
quick question.
Yes.
Let me state what I think I understand and let me know can you let me know if it's incorrect? So, for example, in our situation, Miguel's going to be our primary DA. We would go under his calendar in our branch, and we would set up the hours for him for the whole week, whatever we plan. And then if perhaps I wanted to take an appointment one day of the set of appointments one day of the week or something, that I would set that up under myself, under our branch. But basically, it would mainly be running on his calendar. Cool. Thanks.
And
All right.
Arlen, so this
Yeah, Linda.
this default, and I think I've got a better internet connection now, so we'll see. But this default calendar then it coordinates with our Outlook calendar as we have appointments on there, and then we'll drive availability.
Yes.
Okay, just
It does.
checking. Yep.
All right. Now, one other note. Okay. You want to be in charge of your calendar. Okay. You absolutely want to take control of your calendar. When a customer books an appointment, just because they book an appointment for Wednesday at 3 o'clock doesn't mean it has to stay there. It doesn't necessarily mean that's the best time for them. So when you call the customer and you do a great setup call and you find out that, you know what, they really want their second cousin on their father's side to be at the appointment, but they're only available on Fridays. Okay, great. Then reschedule the appointment for Friday when everybody can be there. Okay. My point is that you really want this to be set with such a wide net that you catch all the appointments and then you rearrange them as you need to when you're actually setting up the appointment. So an actual strategy. Okay, I'm not telling you to do this. I'm sharing with you different ideas because I want you to be able to think open-minded. An actual strategy that owners will use is they'll actually set up hours on their office manager's calendar. And the office manager's calendar will be like from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week. Okay, now, wait a minute. Your office manager's not running any appointments. Why would you do that? Because it's just a holding place. It's a place where that appointment can go, you know that it's always there. You're fishing with a really, really wide net. Once the appointment gets booked there, then the office manager, as soon as they see they have an appointment, they're immediately doing a setup call and they're moving the appointment onto a design associate's calendar or onto your calendar. They move it over to your calendar for the right spot after they've had a chance to talk to the customer. So what does it mean by the right spot? Well, some of you are in territories with a big geographical, like you might have to drive an hour and a half to get from one side of your territory to the other. So it might be that I'm going to take all the stuff way over here on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and I'm going to stay on this side of my territory Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays. Okay, well, you have the ability to do that. You can do what you need to do with your calendar. Okay. Just because the call center books it for 6 o'clock on Tuesday doesn't necessarily mean it has to stay at 6 o'clock on Tuesday. You're in control of that. So, like I said, some people will put hours on their office manager just so that they can catch every possible appointment and then call the customer and move it where it needs to be moved. Yeah, John.
Are there any system-wide like scheduling best practices? Like, do people not like to buy on like Thursday nights versus Wednesday nights or anything like that?
It's not, there are days that are better than other days. Okay. Thursdays and Fridays, people buy. Why do they buy on Fridays? Well, they buy on Friday because they really don't want to mess with it over the weekend. So if you can get out there Friday evening and you can meet with the customer Friday evening, you can give them their weekend back. People buy on the weekends because they've devoted the time now. I mean, look, if I gave up a Saturday to do something, it's important. I want to get this done, right? Earlier in the week, interestingly enough, I've seen some statistics where close rates are actually pretty, there's a statistical significance, but it's not a big number. But I've seen where like Tuesdays are not great buy days. I'm not sure why that is. I can't come up with a rationale behind it, except to say that I understand why Thursdays and Fridays and Saturdays are really good. So it might be that Tuesday is just normal. It's just that the other days are so much better. Yep. All right. So I'm not going to save this. I will prove to Max that I didn't save it. I'll go back into Max's operating hours and we'll see that I did not save it. So that's still clean. Okay. But it's important for you guys to know where that is. And it's not where you think it is. It's under your STM number. It's not under your name. Okay. And it's not under your branch. So when I'm on your branch, you'll see on the branch page, up here at the top of the branch page, it says Markham operating hours. Well, these are the operating hours for the branch, which does absolutely nothing in Salesforce. It pulls up the same little box. I mean, it looks like the same little box, but these don't do anything for anybody. This does nothing. Okay. So don't waste any time there. What you want to do is go to your branch, find your STM number. And once you found your STM number and you click on that, then you can find your operating hours here.
Arlen, is there any harm in us doing this now, or do we want to wait till we're officially open?
Good question. You can do it now, but then you need to block the time, because the minute you do this, you are signaling to the call center and you're signaling to your website that you're ready to take appointments.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can, but I'm going to show you how to block it. All right.
Can I ask a question? I
Yes.
just like, relative to the website, I've paid my Go package, all that good stuff. I've talked to Online Image. I don't know about I'm just trying to check with everybody else. Like, do you have your website up yet? Because I haven't seen my website. Like, if I go in and put in one of my zip codes, it refers me to somebody up in Phoenix.
Same.
Do you? Same, yeah. So I don't know if there's a timeline associated with that. I can follow up with marketing. I just thought I'd check and make sure I'm not the only one that is
No, those
still-
things normally go live like the Tuesday you're at launch.
Okay,
Yeah,
that
I
sounds good.
asked that to Savannah, yes, last week, and she said something similar, usually within a week or two of launch.
Right.
So if
Okay.
we put hours in now and don't block them, we shouldn't probably get scheduled. though,
You
or maybe.
will. You'll
we
still
will.
get scheduled. Yeah, you'll end up getting scheduled.
Okay, thank
Yep.
you.
No, if that's what you want, then go land jobs, right? Okay, so let's take a look
Arlen.
at an actual calendar.
Arlen, another question. In our case, Julio is the DA, but he is in the system. He is as an owner. Is that matter or not?
I'm sorry, he's in the system, but what?
He's in the system as an owner, not as a DA.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't matter? Okay.
No.
Okay, thanks.
All right, so let's take a look at the calendar. So how did I get to the calendar? I came here to my little drop down and I went down to the thing that says calendar on the navigation menu here. And now I'm looking at calendars. Now I have the ability to look at all sorts of calendars. I don't even know whose I'm looking at. I'm going to turn that off and we're going to look at Max Markham's and we're going to look at Johnny's Brown's. So you guys will be able to look at other calendars within your branch by doing the exact same thing that I'm doing, you'll be able to pick people that are inside your branch. And let's look for these.
So Arlen, quick question. So I can log in and I can see my calendar, obviously, and I have Miguel's calendar selected to see. It shows me blocks of time that are busy, but it doesn't show me the appointment detail. Is there some sort of...
If you click on the appointment, you'll see the detail.
No, it just says private event.
Oh, well, if it's marked private, then you can't see it. Too bad.
It's the same appointments that, we both have the hours and we have our boot camps. So I'm just wondering if there's some innate view that...
Interesting. Okay, so let's take a look. I'll come back to that, Carly. Let's take a look. So what I've done is I've got Max's schedule here, and then this is Janice's schedule. Now you'll notice she's got on her schedule, she's got this big block, do not schedule. So that's why even though she's got availability showing in her default, she's created this RA. It's called a resource absence. And this resource absence, she's got herself blocked off from 8 a.m. to 4. So even though if I were to look at, in fact, we'll do it. If I go to look at his branch, and instead of looking at Max, we're going to look at Janice, which is who he's buying the franchise from. If I look at Janice, and I look at her hours, her operating hours, you can see that she's got from 8:30 to 7. That's great. And then on Saturday, she's got from 8:30 to 1. So this looks like, okay, we're going to have some availability on Saturday, except that when I go look at her calendar, she's got a block on her calendar. And if I look at next week, takes a moment for it to load.
It's going to be the same. I just looked at it.
Yep. And so it's blocked for next Saturday. And so that's why when we looked at the other screen and it said there was nothing available on Saturday. So on the one hand, it shows that she's got default hours available, but when I look at the calendar, she's got a resource absence that's actually blocking that time.
Arlen, if you go back a week, I'm curious because back to kind of Carly's point, it shows in-home consultation, but my screen, it just shows busy. Like that's Saturday at 9. Is there a reason mine shows busy?
There may be a permissions thing that I'll have to ask Jalen about. There must be some sort of permissions thing. Because you should be able to see that that's what that is. All right, and so she's got an in-home consultation. So this is another point. You might have a resource absence. You might only have hours set for, like if I'm Janice and I've got my hours set from 8:30 to 1 p.m. on Saturday. Well, according to this, I can't take a Sunday afternoon appointment, right? There's no Sunday afternoon appointments. Okay, that's fine. That means that the call center can't book it that way. The website can't book it that way. But I have control over my schedule. And if I want to book a Sunday afternoon appointment, I can do it. In the same way that you guys have been, up until now, every time I've had you make a homework, I've had you come to the calendar and simply put it on the calendar. It's the same thing. You haven't had any operating hours yet. You can put an appointment on your calendar for whatever time you want to. I remember meeting a guy he wanted an appointment at 2 o'clock in the morning because he works a graveyard shift. He gets home about 1 o'clock. He wanted to be able to come home and get something to eat. And he knew that it was way outside of the scope of what people normally do, but could I meet him at 2 o'clock in the morning? Well, sure. I mean, the call center's not going to book that. The website's not going to book that, but I can book it. Now, you have to decide, are you willing to meet somebody at 2 o'clock in the morning? That's a different decision for everybody I know. I did. I landed the job because I was the only one that would do it. You might decide, you know what? I'm not doing that at 2 o'clock in the morning. Somebody's going to rob me. Okay. That's your choice to make. All right. So how do you do this little resource absence thingy? Well, if you click somewhere on your calendar, it doesn't matter where, you can, just like we've been doing before, you can create an appointment, but instead of creating an appointment, you can create a resource absence. By creating a resource absence, we hit next. I'm not going to save this, but this allows you to create a resource absence. And what does it do? It creates a busy time on your calendar that effectively blocks everything from happening. So if I hit cancel here, you would show that resource absence, just like Johnny's has on hers. Here's a resource absence from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. It is not possible for the call center or for the website to book an appointment during that period of time. This one, she must have booked for on her own. She had to have done that herself because the call center and the website can't do it.
Arlen, does when you block it with the resource absence, does that then talk back to Outlook and block your time in Outlook as well?
It does. However, I will tell you that the sync between Salesforce and Outlook is a little funny. So what's supposed to happen is, like, I mean, here you've got boot camp. Well, that obviously happened from Outlook. That didn't get created from Salesforce. That got created from Outlook. So you take a meeting in Outlook and it syncs over to Salesforce and it blocks your calendar. But if I were to go into Salesforce now and delete this boot camp, it's not going to change it in Outlook. So as a general rule, whatever system started the appointment, you need to manage the appointment in that system. Right now, if I were to delete it in Outlook, it should come off of this calendar in Salesforce. Okay, so somebody asked, does it make sense for us to go ahead and create our operating hours? Do we need to go ahead and do this now? Well, you can do it now, or you can wait and do it like the week of launch. Either way is fine. You just have to do it. However, if you decide to do it now, I would strongly recommend that you come into your calendar and create resource absences that will cover you through launch. You don't have to create one a day. You can create, I think the longest one you can create is like 2 weeks though. So if I do a resource absence, how far out can I go? Maybe I can go 3 weeks. Okay. So you could set this up so that your first available appointment is when you come back from launch. Okay.
So
I recommend go ahead and set it up and block your calendar, and then that way it's done and you don't have to worry about it. We've already taken care of it, but I leave it up to you. Yeah, Mike.
Yeah, what happens if there's like existing appointments and you have something that comes up and you need to create a resource absence that's going to conflict with that? Does anything automatically happen to those appointments, or is that just the office manager and me having to rework the times?
That's exactly what that is. If you create a resource absence and it just so happens that you've already got appointments, well, now you're calling those appointments to move them. The Salesforce is not going to automatically reschedule those for you.
Okay, I just want to make sure it didn't automatically cancel it or something more draconian. All right. Nope. Do you get a notice of it, or you just have to look at it and say, I got to go look at it and make sure I'm not,
right.
taking
You just
myself
have to go
out
look
on an appointment.
Right. You just have to go look and see what you've got. Okay. Is this fairly clear? I hope. It's really not that complicated. But honestly, what I would highly recommend that you do is try as much as possible, try to prevent from blocking a bunch of stuff on your calendar. Because obviously every time you block something on your calendar, you're stripping availability away from when a customer could see you. And I personally kept my calendar wide open. Now, I will tell you, I hate running 3 appointments in a day. I can do 2, but when I get to the 3rd one, I don't have the energy for it. I'll do 2 a day, and I'm happy with 2 a day. So if somebody ever came along and booked a 3rd appointment, I was doing my best to see if I could reschedule that appointment. And, you know, but it's okay if they couldn't reschedule it, that's fine. But I want to have a great setup call with them and see if I can move the appointment to another day or whatever. Because I know that I'm not going to be my best on that third appointment. You might be fine with 3 appointments. You know what? That's great. For me, 2 is enough. And I'll run 2 appointments a day, and I'll take care of making sure production is done and making sure that all the rest of the stuff is done and making, you know, and keeping everything going. By the time I get a third appointment, I'm mailing it in on the third one anyway. So I might as well see if I can rearrange it.
Hey, Arlen, just really quickly to confirm, the blocks of time in Outlook that are shown as busy are also going to translate as a resource absence for the call center.
Yep.
Okay.
Just like you see here. So we've got boot camp right now,
Yep.
and you've got Savannah's drop in, and then you got, you know, so all this stuff. By the way, this is why. So once you get past launch, like right now, you know, I'm covering your calendar with boot camp and inspired sale, and Savannah's covering it with drop-ins. After launch, you will have a field training call that gets booked on your calendar, but most of the time you're going to see, that's why like the system-wide calls don't come out as a meeting invite. They come out as an email, join the system-wide call on Monday, but they don't come out as an invite because otherwise it'll block everybody's calendar for that period of time.
I was really confused about that. That
Yeah.
makes so much sense.
So, I mean, it's one of those things. If you're available, join. If you're not available because you're running an appointment, watch the recording later. But it's, I mean, they're good calls, but that's why a lot of times from corporate, we really try not to send out meeting invites because every time we do it just blocks people's calendar. Okay. Let's see what else we're supposed to be doing here. Calendar availability. Yep. 2 appointments a day, good stuff. That's where you can find them. B&I meetings, Salesforce calendar, resource absence we've done. Good. You will get a copy of this. And of course, if you've gone through this with me today and you're like, I still don't remember how to do it, that's fine. If you go to fciit.com and search for setup operating hours or availability in operating hours, or you use these hyperlinks in the presentation, you can obviously get back to Ryan's training material, or you can watch back through this. Yeah, Mutu.
Can I ask the call center to book only 2 appointments per day and don't book more?
No, they're going to book as much as they can book, and you really want them to book as much as. See, this is where you have to take advantage. You have to take control of your own calendar. I don't want the call center to stop booking. I want the call center. If the call center books me 5 appointments today, great. It's up to me to then move them around the way that I want them. Right? Because then I have a real name, I have a real phone number, I've got a real address, I have somebody that's actually interested in an appointment. Good. Now I can have a conversation with that person.
Okay.
So I want the call center and the website, for me, I want the call center and the website to be a really, really big net so that I can catch as many fish as possible and then let me sort the fish out later. I really don't want the call center doing a lot of sorting. I want to sort it.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. All right. So part of your homework, and this is sort of optional, if you will, set your operating hours and then block the time until after launch. Or if you don't want to do that because you're concerned about it, that's okay. Then don't set your operating hours, but put a tickler or something in Microsoft Outlook to remind you to set them. I will not be reminding you to set your operating hours. So we've gone through this today. I will not be reminding you to set your operating hours. So if you want to go ahead and do them now, but block the time until after launch, or create for yourself in whatever to-do system you use, whatever tickler file you use, set it a reminder for you to set your operating hours. Okay. All right, proposal. These are getting good now. So I want you to write a proposal for a friend or family member, not your own house. So I'm starting to see the same houses over and over again. So this really should not be your house. Challenge yourself to get into somebody else's space so that so that you have to measure something different. Create 3 options. Instead of using PG, put an actual board name down. So instead of using PG, actually, look at the name of the board, of the actual product board, and put the name in. Create the customer, the whole 9 yards. Now, I'm not even telling you what, I don't care. Hardwood, laminate, LVP, carpet, that's completely up to you. I just want you to put the actual board name in. This is going to help you see whether or not you have those products in your tablet. If that fails, then you know that you don't have them yet, and then that's something to take care of. We're getting close to the end here, so we need to be there. Mutu, did you have another question?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did a project and it's 3-room carpet removal. And when I add them, it only shows 1 room removal, not the other 2 rooms, square feet.
So when you add it, remember to click on when you created the room, I assume you said that there was carpet to be removed?
Yes, all 3 rooms I had to remove carpet. And I added remove and hallway in all 3 of them, but it only shows in 1 room.
Do you know the number, the project number?
Yeah. It's 1 second. It's
the last one.
That's crystal one. Yeah, it's 035. Maybe I can copy paste. I pasted the link in the window. Will that help?
All right, so we've got a closet, we've got a bedroom. My God, that closet's as big as my bedroom.
Right.
Good stuff. Big closet. All right, so we've got a big closet, we've got a bedroom, we got stairs, we got a bunch of other rooms. So concrete on the bottom floor, we've got plywood on the second floor. So that's the stairs. Oh, this is good. I like this picture. So you'll notice that this picture, so you've got these spindles over here, but the carpet doesn't go all the way over here. The carpet stops right here. So if I'm doing carpet, I'm still going to consider this a boxed staircase, right? This is still boxed. This is not upholstered on one side because the carpet doesn't go around the spindles. The carpet stops here. So this is absolutely a boxed staircase.
Right.
Good picture there. So this says removal and hallway carpet in the master bedroom. Yeah, I mean, it looks like all of the spaces say removal of carpet and pad. I would have to look at how the sequence that you used, because I mean, it looks to me like everything here shows removal of carpet and pad. So I'd have to see what the button sequence that you used. But now while we're here, let's take a look at this. So we're going to do PG2 hardwood. You've got 1,200 square feet, 10% waste, hardwood adhesive. So I'm assuming that you're going to glue it down on the ground floor. There you've got your stairs. Okay, good. We've got our stairs, then we've got hardwood glue down, and then hardwood nail staple. Good. So the downstairs we're gonna glue it on the concrete, and then we're gonna nail it on the plywood upstairs. Perfect. That's exactly right. You got the freight in there, right? Installing the quarter round, furniture move. hardwood glue down, new quarter round. No, this looks good. So let's see, removal of carpet and pad. 136 square yards times 9. No, everything's there.
Oh, that's square round. Okay.
So this is in square yards.
Okay.
Because it's carpet. This is in square feet.
Yeah. Okay.
So if I take 136, I just round it off. 136 times 9, that's 1,224. So yeah,
Right.
the math works.
Okay. Yeah, that works.
Perfect. Yeah, Carla.
Yes, so I was practicing as well, and I didn't own my floor, but I cannot find it when I'm going back to the tablet looking for the customer that is myself, because I'm trying to do the exercise from last week, from the 31st. I don't see, it doesn't show my floor plan anymore. If I'm looking at here in the computer, I see the floor plan, but in the application and
Right.
tablet, it's gone. So I'm supposed
So
to
the tablet only shows you backwards 7 days. So if it's past 7 days, then it's not going to show you in the tablet. But what is your customer name?
Tech. They said to put TECH. So Tech and then space K Zuniga. That with Z, no, K Z U. Without the U, K Z or Z U. That one. And that's my project.
Okay. All right. So here's a trick. Let me go to the tablet and I will show you a trick to get it back to the tablet. This is called creating an ongoing work appointment. And everybody is going to want to know how to do this. Okay. So if I go into InspireNet, in the top left-hand corner, you see the 3 lines, the 3 little, the little menu there. So if I click on those 3 little lines, then I'm going to hit the button that says search customer. Yeah, that's fine. Now I can't pull up your customer from here the way I'm logged in, but you can type in Tech K Zuniga. I can type in one of my Brady training ones, and I can search for it, and you'll see that I've got all these different color customers out there. That's fine. So I'm going to pick one of them, and you should see just the one.
Yeah.
And I can select it. I have to select it, and then hit enter, hit the check mark. And what it's going to do is it's going to sync that appointment back down to your tablet as an ongoing work appointment. You can see where it says ongoing appointment in the black box. Now, if you open that up, your drawing, everything is there.
From there, I didn't even get that where it says the appointment. Like I don't have that screen. It will open directly in this one that is it went dark. But it's what? It's black. So that's why I was asking. Do I need to do it again?
I would suggest doing it again. I'm looking at this customer in Salesforce, and I don't see where it was ever synced the first time. So unfortunately, if it never synced the first time, if you never synced your tablet the first time, then it's probably lost after 7 days.
Okay, I'll do it again.
Because I don't see where it was ever synced. I see the customer name, but I don't see that you ever synced the tablet after doing the work.
Okay. I supposedly did, but I guess I didn't. But okay, I'll do it again.
Okay. All right, Mark.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks. Just 2 things. One, I talked to Jalen sometime in the last couple of days, and some of the EDI vendors are not mapped yet, and it's like a system-wide issue. I think he's waiting to do a bunch at once, so you may be that some of those take a little bit of time. So just FYI there. And as far as the last week's homework, I don't think I've ever seen mine. Are you still working through those?
I am, and I actually wanted to take, because we have time here, I wanted to take the last couple of them that I got and just do them together, because I want you guys to start to be able to sort of diagnose as well. So I did Elise's, right, but I didn't.
Mine was like the 31st. I sent it a while back, so.
It is quite possible that I missed it.
It was like buried in between like a bunch of, it's way up from there, but it was buried in a bunch of other things.
Just showing off that he did it so quickly.
That's right.
No,
That's right. There it is. All right, let's take a look at this one together then.
Great. Throw me on the spot.
That's right. Well, this is good because it's time for you guys to be able to analyze each other's too. So let's kill these. So let's do
do this option
upstairs
too.
and entry stairs. All right, so I'll ask the group first. What do you guys see? What do you like? What do you not like? We've got a proposal here that's almost $7,500. Do you think he can land it with this? What do you guys see and don't see?
One call out, the waste factor at 20.4 could put the pricing a little bit high. Maybe able to trim that a little bit.
Could be, but if it was 20 even, I would say that he didn't run the seaming diagram. Because it's 20.43, that tells me that he actually ran the seaming diagram, and that's what it came back with. So if I click over to the installation plan, and when it loads, you see there's the diagram. Oh, see this funky hallway? That's where a lot of your waste is coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So if I click on this first link, not the first link, the second link, I click on this second link, I'm going to see what's happening with his seaming diagram. So he ran the seaming diagram, and yeah, see all this white space. That 20.43 is probably real. It really will be a higher waste because of that funky angle in that hallway. So I would say good catch, Mike. But in this case, the fact that it says 20.43 instead of just 20 tells me that he ran the seaming diagram, and so that's real.
Yeah, I ran it a couple different ways too, and that was the best one.
What else do you guys see?
We took the waste out on the labor pieces.
Yeah, so one of the problems with that is with carpet, when an installer pulls the roll off the truck, if you buy 91 square yards, 92 square yards of carpet, that's what he's charging you for. Now, in this case, some of that charge is eaten up in stairs. I get it. But if you take your install and pull the waste off of your install, you're not going to have enough. So carpet is one that I would leave. I would absolutely leave the waste in on the install.
Yeah, I think I learned that after.
Is the freight, it's matching the carpet cushion quantity versus the carpet. But I guess at the end of the day, it's just, does the final price match what you think the freight is going to actually cost?
Well, actually, so freight for carpet is in fact variable. So it really should be the 92, not the 66.
Yeah, Arlen, this was my question the other day where like my tablet defaulted to the cushion, not what I put there. And then I tested it again on another one I did yesterday, and it defaulted to what the carpet was. So I don't know.
I don't know, but the freight, so you're going to pay freight on 90.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say 92. You're going to pay freight on 92 square yards of carpet because you're going to order 92 and you're going to pay install for 92, even though some of it may have to do with stairs, you are going to end up paying for 92 square yards of carpet.
So the pad should match the carpet square yards, right?
Not necessarily, because he's got a lot of stairs. And when you look at stairs, you don't put padding on the riser. The padding only goes on the tread. And I mean, this is a lot of stairs. I assume it really is 31 stairs. You got a bunch of staircases.
Yeah.
Okay.
No pictures. Oh, there's a picture.
Sorry. Took a
I'm sorry.
video.
See if I can get the video to play. Yeah, boxed on both sides. There we go. We're in the funky hallway. Look at that. We got ripples. We've got
Lots of
waves
ripples.
in the ocean. All right, it looks like a standard builder grade carpet. Yeah, you can see the seam.
That was part of my video to call out the seam. And I made sure the seam was on the other side of the room in the seaming diagram.
Nice. Nice. Good. All right. Let's see. I know there was a couple more here that I had not gotten to.
Arlen,
Yes.
Not that
I just a question. So do you pay the rate per step, but then you also pay them for the total yardage for the stairs too?
Yeah, so what ends up happening is like you're paying, let's say you're paying $5 a square yard for the install. That's fine. And then maybe it's an additional $8 a stair or something, right? So it's not that you're double paying them, but you're not double paying them, but you are paying them something extra for doing the stairs.
Got it. Oh, okay, I see. So it looks like we need to change. We just have to make a couple changes so that everything matches with how much we ordered.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So let's see. Option 1 here. We got Cheryl Hudson. Cheryl's getting good carpet, PG4 carpet. All right. So talk to me about new baseboards. Did Cheryl really want new baseboards?
Well, that was a question that I had because the room I'm running this exercise on had tile, and I didn't take a picture, which I should have, but it has tile in here that looks like a terracotta ceramic type tile that has baseboards that are the same thing. Now, they aren't actually going to replace this one, but that was where the baseboards match the tile right now, and I figured they're not going to want that in there.
Got it. Yep.
They wanted like a wood that would be more neutral, like
100%. So 100%. So in that case, yes, you would be doing new baseboards. Okay, you would absolutely be doing new baseboards. Now, you might be able to. I mean, you can put carpet directly over the tile. You would glue the tack strips down onto the tile, just like you would glue it onto carpet. I mean, you can pull the tile up if you want to, but it's expensive and it's a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
But you could absolutely install the carpet directly over the tile. And for the baseboards, you probably are removing the tile baseboards or the tile base and then putting up a wooden baseboard. There's a product out there. This is not in your tablet. This is something brand new. What is the name of it? Cover Trim. That's what it is. Cover Trim. This is something I found this. I have not bought any of it yet. And I found a company in North Carolina that makes this stuff, but it's fascinating. because you take and instead of taking the old baseboards off the wall, the way this thing is designed is you just put this over top of the existing baseboard. So it looks like this, which is fascinating. So you've got a profile. This is what that baseboard profile looks like. So in a case like you've got where you've got a tile on the wall, it might be that instead of pulling the tile off the wall even, that you end up putting this over top of it. Who knows? Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I wondered about that because I was thinking if I could just put it over the tile, I would take out that $1,000 for tile removal.
Right.
And then I thought they're doing the baseboards over again anyway, so you're going to raise them up. And the only thing I might have to do is a few door trims.
Yep. So this is fairly new. I've never used this before, but this is something that's new that I've found. And right now they say that they only sell it at Home Depot and Wayfair. Well, but then you know that it's going to be expensive if that's the only places that they're selling it. But who knows? It might be that you throw something like this at your installer and they figure out how to make it using a table saw and a router. Who knows? This wouldn't be that hard to make. All right, there was another one. Let's take a look at Zach's.
Arlen, can I ask a question on this one?
Mhm. Yep.
The quantities on what we were just looking, there were some numbers that were like in the 200s and then others in the 60s.
Yep, we'll probably see the same thing here. So let's just take a look. All right. Well, no, we didn't. All right, let's go back to. All right, so here you've got like furniture move of 230. You're removing tile of 230, but you're only buying 25 of carpet. I assume that's the question, right? Why are those different?
Well, yeah, because I was thinking, wouldn't tile be like a subset of the overall project?
Right, it would be. So tile is always represented in square feet. Carpet is always represented in square yards. And the conversion is a multiple of 9. So if I take 230 divided by 9, I get 25 and a half. Yep, so that's what that is, 25 and a half. So carpet and everything associated with carpet. So carpet cushion, carpet freight, removal of carpet. If you see removal of carpet, it's going to be in square yards. So here we've got removal of carpet. That's 21 square yards. Good. In this case, it looks all consistent because everything on here has to do with carpet. So it's all, it's carpet, carpet, carpet. Let's see, we've got soft surface freight. All right, so the one thing that I would point out here, freight for carpet, it is variable. So if you order, if you order 100 square yards, it's going to be twice as much freight as if you order 50 square yards. So where hard surface freight is just a drop fee, with carpet, it is variable. So the tablet's doing the right thing. It's taking your adjusted quantity and it's multiplying it by whatever your rate is, in this case, 80 cents, and it's coming up with a number. However, I will tell you that carpet is going to have a minimum, and I don't know what that minimum is. So in this case, my guess is that $49, which means that you're allowing yourself like 25 bucks worth of freight, it's not going to be enough. If I have, as long as Sean never figures out that I still have his password, I can get away with this. Nobody gets to tell Sean that I can do this. All right, so on Sean Now, there is a freight calculator right here on the home page. Okay. So like in Zach's case, a PG3 carpet. So let's say we're doing winner's choice. Winner's choice 3 should be a PG3 carpet. So if I find winner's choice in here, winner's choice 3. Okay, good. So this is winner's choice 3. And I'm going to ship it to Tucker, Georgia. That's fine. And I'm going to ship. So in Zach's case, we were going to ship 42 square yards. Okay. So if I put in here 42 square yards and hit calculate, if it's going to Tucker, Georgia, how much is that going to cost me for freight? It is going to cost me $54 plus a 56% fuel surcharge. So let's just say that this is going to be whatever that is, 75, 8. I'm going to call it $80. So this is going to cost me $80 to ship. So that means over here, where Zach has $49 to the customer, should probably be more like $160 to the customer. Now you're not going to jump out of this every time to go look at Shaw Now and figure it out. No, what's going to end up happening is you're going to say, okay, this one was $80, and $80 divided by 42 yards means $1.90. And maybe that ends up being too much, but eventually you sort of hone in on a number that says my unit cost is, maybe it's $1.50 for freight. $1.50 a square yard for freight. And after you've done, 7 or 8 or 10 jobs and you get your freight bills, then you see, okay, this is a number that I can live with. Mark.
And I can, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Zach.
I can adjust that in my mobile accessory list.
Yes, you can. Yep. Mark?
I think my hand is still up by accident.
In that case, Mike.
Yeah, so in addition to the freight, for those of us paying a liftgate charge, is there a separate field we can enter in, or do we just add that into our freight?
No, just
somehow?
add it in. Yeah, just add it in.
Okay.
Max. All right, we've had Mark, Mike, Max. Let's go.
Yeah, we're keeping the M's rolling. The carpet removal is 21 here. Is that square yards or square feet?
Square yards.
Okay.
Yep, square yards.
So we ran into this recently. Our costs were, excuse me, inputted as square feet. It looks like you should have your labor costs set per square yard for carpets, correct?
Yes, and it is. But what ends up happening is your carpet install. So there are issues with stairs, no doubt. And this is creating issues with some of the stuff that's happening up here. This is on Ryan's list of things to get fixed. Because what's happening is, like this PG3 carpet, the install, well, wait a minute. You don't even have the install on here.
Yeah, it's line 4, the 4th line down.
Oh, sorry, I'm just blind. Okay, so this really should be the same 33, and it's not. But you can compensate for that, and this is why it ends up not being a big deal for people that do this all the time, because they'll end up just compensating for it in the stair install down here. So it's fine, but it's throwing off the freight number up here.
Well, this looks like an example of what Mark, sorry,
Right.
what Mark was explaining earlier, how the freight was based on the cushion as opposed to the carpet.
Right. And you'll see, I'll show you this website, fciit.com. You guys already know this website well. I assume. When it pops up here we go. All right, but you may not know that this is out there. Known incidents and known issues. Okay, incidents and known issues. So this is a bug list that Ryan and the developers are working through. All right, so you can see, let's see, InspireNet Mobile, carpet pad and freight are underestimated when stairs are included on the quote. So this is, I mean, it's on his list. He's actually working through this right now. He doesn't have a date, but he actually is working through this right now. But that known issues list is it's a good place to be able to go to and see things that are happening. Good. All right. So keep the proposals coming. The only way you get better at this is by doing it. There's our makeup word for today. And your next call, we're going to spend, honestly, this Salesforce branch info, this next call is not going to take very long. I mean, we could literally be done with the call in 40 or 45 minutes and be out. But I purposely still set 2 hours on my schedule blocked off so that whatever last minute questions you've got, what's happening with this, that I'm not rushing you, but I purposely blocked that 2 hours off on Thursday for your last boot camp call. My gosh, last boot camp call already, to make sure that that you guys, that you have what you need, you're good, proposals, everything's working the way that it's supposed to be doing. You've had 5 weeks worth of practice proposals and writing stuff to make sure that tablets are working and whatever else. By now, it should seem like it's old hat. But I still want to make sure that we've got as much stuff covered as we can before we get into Inspired Sale next week and then launch the week after that.
Alan, do you mind going back to the homework real quick?
There we go. Write a proposal with 3 options. You pick.
And Arlen, can you give us an idea of what next week looks like in those large time slots? Like what?
Yep. So what'll happen next week is, and sorry, Linda, I'm going to talk Eastern time because it's the only time I know.
Yeah.
All right. So you're going to be with me. We start on Tuesday, right? So from Tuesday to Friday, or are we Monday to Thursday? Or Tuesday to Friday?
Tuesday to Friday.
All right. So what's going to happen on Tuesday? You're going to start with me at 11 o'clock. And we're going to work through, on Tuesday, we will start with step 7 and step 8. We're going to work through the close. We're going to work through a tactic called the walk of life. We're going to practice that. And you're going to be with me from 11 until about 4 o'clock. Sometimes it's 4:15, sometimes it's 3:45. It depends on how, with the class this size, it's probably going to be more like 4:15. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to just stare at each other for 5.5 hours. I will build in breaks. So there will be times for you to go to the restroom. There'll be times I will take a longer break for people to actually go get something to eat for lunch. I try to do the lunch break at like 1 or 1:30, maybe even as late as 2 o'clock Eastern. That way people on the West Coast to Central Time, I mean, it's okay if East Coast people get hungry by 1:30, but if I do a 12 o'clock lunch, then people on the West Coast, I mean, you just ate breakfast. So I try to balance it a little bit. But we will take breaks and do things, and there's going to be a lot of Tuesday, there's less breakout rooms, but Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there's a lot of breakout rooms for you to be able to practice stuff. So you're with me from, let's say, 11 to 4-ish. Then you're going to be assigned to an ops coach, and those ops coaches are going to send you their Zoom links. You'll drop off of my Zoom link, and you'll get on in a small group. So instead of even having all of you guys, I'll have 5 or 6 ops coaches lined up next week for you guys to be able to get into small groups and actually do more practicing. Okay, it's all about just practicing. And honestly, next week is all going to be about the Inspired Sales System. So yes, you'll have a proposal to write, but the proposal is there just to have something to do, you know, to practice a close with. It's nobody's going to test you on, do you know how to use a tablet? By now, I assume you know how to use a tablet. So it truly is going to be sales practice. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday look exactly the same. You're with me from 11 to 4-ish, and then you're with one of the ops coaches afterwards. Friday is a little bit different. We will meet together from like 11 to 2, and then you'll meet with the ops coach, and then you'll meet back with me at like 4 p.m. for us to wrap up between 4 and 5. And the only reason I do that is so that I don't have the ops coaches tied up Friday evening. They're gracious enough with their time to meet with you guys next week during the evenings, and they give up their evenings for that. I try not to make them do that on Friday evening. Does that help, Linda?
Yeah, no, that's super helpful. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Otherwise, I will see you guys tomorrow for Inspired Sale class.
Thanks, Arlen.
All right, guys.
Thanks,
Take care.
Have a good one.
All right, thanks,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.